Hey everybody, welcome back to Stand By for Adventure. I missed last Thursday, I don't remember exactly why, and then I was working on... Oh, this was why. I was working on something uh, to take pictures, to put into a PDF, or a slide deck thing, PowerPoint presentation, and none of the pictures saved, which I don't understand how a screenshot doesn't get taken when you hit press print screen. But there you go. It didn't work, and that was frustrating, and I didn't want to do it over again, and I had all these notes. So instead, I'm just going to do it right off the cuff, completely make all this up as I'm going along. And what I wanted to talk about today was another way to come up with ideas for monsters, adventures, settings, a bunch of different stuff you can use this for. One of the things, and I've thought about this for a long time, I've always wanted to do it, and I never have. So if this is something that's interesting to you, I really would love to hear if you do it, and what you think of it, and how it works out, and I will explain exactly what it is right now. For years, Magic the Gathering has been creating absolutely ridiculously fantastic artwork, and they're used on these cards. Tons of people have these cards. They've even started including these full art cards in the packs that feature uninterrupted art from the cards in whatever the current set is. And they're just really fantastically awesome, even if it's just a landscape. Whoa, I'm all over the place. But anyway, you can get these cards, which are just in packs, and you can get them for like $0.25 a piece, or less, I assume. I think you can get them for like $0.25 a piece on Card Kingdom. I live just down the block from them. Or Mox, whatever you want to call it. And what's cool about them is, or the idea that I have for them, is to use them as a way for you and your players, first off, to come to the table in a session 0, and when you do, tell the players, hey, bring me 3 magic cards that feature a character, a monster, a setting, like a landscape, something, some element that you think looks super cool and that you want to have in the game that you're going to play. So right now on screen you can see Firemind's Foresight. There's a dragon. Can't see it particularly well in this image, but that's what that... Let me see if I can blow this up. I can. So we have Firemind's Foresight, and so maybe you think this dragon looks really cool and you would like to have a dragon in your game. This is just an example. Let me hit a button to go to another random card, and of course I can't just do that now without it. Random card. And this is the Magic the Gathering website called Gatherer, and it includes every single card that they've ever published. With artwork, with all their rules, with all the errata, with everything. All I'm really interested in is the card itself and the art on the card. Maybe the name, if the name speaks to you or gives you some ideas, that's a cool way to go too. But the idea is people would come to the table with a couple of cards, and you as GM would then, and they as the players, would have an idea, a picture, literal picture in mind of the sorts of things your players are interested in, and you can use those cards to give you ideas, to come up with plots, to come up with NPCs, to, as I said before, to come up with monsters. You could even come up with dungeons using these cards, and just use them as inspiration in a way that they were not originally meant to be. There is certainly a connection to this sort of approach to things, and I, in fact, just remembered this in the old game by Jonathan Tweet, Everway, that used image cards specifically to tell the story and to move things forward and that sort of thing. It's long out of print. At least I say that thinking it's out of print. I know another company picked it up, and I hope I'm not saying it's out of print when it's actually in print. But if you're curious about it, the game is called Everway, and it's got to be like 20 years old now. But let's take an example of this. So I want to, and I have no idea what cards are going to come up. I have not pre-planned this. I was going to do that, and it didn't work. So now I'm going off the cuff. So I may have to hit random card a couple of times. So let's say I want to come up with a dungeon. And I have to be a little loosey-goosey here in terms of what the first card is going to indicate, because it could indicate where it's set, what it looks like. I mean, it could be anything. The item or person who's kept there that maybe people have to rescue, or maybe have to kill them or remove them or something like that. So you have to be really open to letting your mind run wild. For instance, if I had landed on this card, and I'll blow this up again, this is Nissa's Chosen, and it shows an elf in the woods with a sword. So if this had come up as a first card, maybe I'd think, oh, okay, so it's going to be a forest adventure, and it has something to do with a sword, and maybe something to do with elves. Maybe a couple of those things don't even really matter all that much. And then, so, new dungeon, new adventure. Mystical teachings. Okay, so this gives me an idea. Mystical teachings, maybe it's something to do with a library or a book, and people, the player characters are hired to recover something that the university or a mage wants or needs in order to continue their mystical research. Perhaps one of the players is a wizard, and they have been assigned to go find this thing, and that is part of the payment for continuing training with the wizard that they had apprenticed under. So again, that would be the first part. So there's something out there that the players have to go get that's related to magic and mystical learning and books. Next, Rod of Ruin. Perhaps there is something to do with the Rod of Ruin, or some sort of magic item that's also hidden away with this text or whatever it is the players are going to go get, and they may not be aware that it's there, and it's something for you to spring a surprise on them. Maybe the Rod of Ruin is really not a good thing for them to find, discover, and bring back out into the world. Maybe it's just another magic item. Now let's see, maybe there's some kind of monster or trap, or we'll get an idea about where this setting might be. Sure, so a Sylvan Cariated, the idea behind this card is it is and if you can't see it very well, this is, Cariated columns are columns that look like people. They've been carved to resemble human figures, and this gives me an idea of the classic thing of this dungeon, wherever they're going to, whatever it looks like, is perhaps protected by living statues instead of having actual organic living guardians. Instead, whatever this place is that the players are going to is protected by the physical location itself, because the stones come to life to fight whoever might be coming to recover this thing. As you can see, there's a lot of sort of making stuff up, filling in all sorts of details, but if you're looking for a way to come up with ideas, I think this is really kind of a fun way to do it. And it also lets you look at a lot of really awesome artwork that you may want to use in some other way in your game. So what do we have here? This is a card called Might of Oaks. That doesn't give me a whole heck of a lot of ideas, so I'm just going to skip it. Somnomancer, also not particularly interesting to me. Oh, Spark-Tongued Dragon. So maybe I want to come up with a new creature. And I look at this and go, oh, that would be kind of a cool low-level monster. Could look like a dragon. Maybe it's only small or medium-sized and isn't a full dragon. Maybe it's a drake. Okay, I can work with that and come up with something that, a reddish dragon that breathes lightning would definitely be against type for a D&D monster. Let's see what the next card is. Next card is, wow, an old one, Armor of Faith. This was in the very first set. Not sure what this really indicates to me other than somebody who, like something priestly, that sort of thing. It doesn't really give me any good ideas. Man of War isn't very exciting. Divergent Transformation. So this could be something that might set up a completely different plot line. Maybe there's some sort of curse that is forcibly changing people or animals in a region into something much deadlier and more unusual than, say, what it started out as. In this case, this big kind of whale, elephant-looking creature, dinosaur thing used to be one of these sheep, and now it's been mutated and has become something very different, much more deadly, and townspeople need help with it. And again, that's just from a single picture, and I really like the idea of using these cards in ways that are not what you would expect. Here's another good example of something that you might never think of to include in a D&D game, a Wall of Blood. Obviously in Magic they have to come up with all sorts of different cards that seem completely ridiculous and weird, but then you can take those and turn them into something really cool and fun and different and new for your D&D game or for whatever game you're playing. Could be Savage Worlds, could be anything, right? I've said before I use D&D as a placeholder. It could really be for any game. Wall of Blood, you could write up stats for this living wall of actual literal blood that has gained maybe not sentience, maybe it's an ooze or something akin to a gelatinous cube, but it should be weird and deadly and dangerous, and I think it would be a really cool monster to have to deal with as a player character and as a GM. Lava Hounds, that's not so exciting unless I'm looking for like a setting. Maybe this tells me that whatever adventure I'm going to be setting up is in a volcanic area. Maybe it's in a volcano itself. Maybe it's on a lava field. Maybe it's underground where there's a bunch of magma. And that might be all I need from that card. Next card, Mouth to Feed. Nope, not interested in that. Nesting Grounds. So that's just sort of an interesting card in and of itself. Maybe this is another instance of some natives to an area, whoever the townsfolk are, the people who live there, have stumbled across the fact that something is building a nest out in the wastes, and they have concerns about what happens when it hatches, whatever it is that's in there. Maybe there's a big monster defending it, the mama bear or whatever it is, or dada bear. And they want it dealt with before it becomes a flood of whatever little monsters end up coming out of it. Again, just simple little, really just kind of throwaway ideas, right? But you could build entire encounters, even entire portions of campaigns off of something like this that you wouldn't have thought of any other way. And I think it's really fun because you can also point to these cards when you use them to come up with ideas, to show players what it is they are seeing, or the location that they're in, or who they're talking to, right? I think it's really kind of a fun idea, and I really do want to do this at some point. Maybe it'll be for a one-shot just to test it and see like what sort of things people bring to the table, what they're interested in seeing. But I think it would also be fantastic to set up an entire campaign. You could use the different land cards to kind of build a map of your world by saying, okay, this part's a swamp, put a card here, that's a swamp, here's some forest next to it, here's mountains, here's whatever else. I mean, there's all sorts of different land cards in Magic. It's not just the 5 basic lands. And use that to sort of roughly build out your map, and then go sketch it out yourself, or use some sort of online program or something to create the map and fill it in with those details. Like, okay, this whole area was going to be a forest, this whole area was going to be plains, this was going to be rivers with swamplands, this was going to be an archipelago, that sort of thing. And it could work out really in a super cool way. That's basically the whole idea, and I just wanted to kind of quote-unquote get this on paper and offer it up to everybody to see if it's something that you think would be interesting or fun, or that you might want to experiment with. It's definitely something I want to do at some point. I just need to get back to the point, really, of playing in person, because I would like there to be actual physical cards, even though people could just send me links to specific cards. It's nice to have the actual physical cards as well. Let's see what else we've got here, just to have some cool ideas. Oh, here's a vivid grove, so that could be a setting for something. Maybe you could even use this to illustrate, like, this is the grove that you come upon, and you were looking for a unicorn, but it's not here right now. Definitely gives that sort of feel, right? Training drone. Not very exciting. Verena the Lich Queen. So here, I wouldn't use necessarily the name Verena, but maybe what this is the ultimate bad guy for this stretch of your campaign, or maybe the entire campaign is a Lich Queen who is interested in dominating the world by animating an army of zombies, right? That sets up an entire campaign based on a single image. You may not have come up with that idea on your own, just thinking about it. It seems like a pretty basic idea, but totally useful and interesting. Let's see what else we've got here. Nuisance Engine. Not so much into the high-tech stuff, specifically because I'm talking about D&D. This is the Avon Farseer, and you could have this be maybe a scout from or a lost member of an Aarakocra tribe who has kind of stumbled into this new area of the world that they're completely unfamiliar with. And I get that just off of the Farseer thing, right? They're far from where they would normally be. That's the idea. That's all I got. Anyway, so that's what I wanted to talk about today. It's not super detailed. I would have had more if my screenshots had worked, and if it didn't just really annoy me that I had to go back and do it again, and I was like, nope, it took me too long, and I don't want to redo it. But I think you can definitely see the idea behind this and how it could be used and how freeform it can be. It's almost like doing tarot, right? Call up whatever card that comes up randomly. You can just click random card and something comes up. Oh, here's a festering goblin. I don't have stats for undead goblins in D&D. What a great idea. And you can just go from there. This could be part of the whole Lich Queen thing, is weird monsters start appearing as zombies instead of just humans, and these zombies are able to pass on the curse of zombieism if they are, if a person is killed by one of these creatures. That's kind of the idea. And I hope it's useful. I hope somebody does actually use it, and I would love to hear about it, because I think it's a really fun idea, and it's a way to get your players and yourself involved in creating and building the world and working together to come up with cool stuff together in a way that isn't really by the rules, but there are no rules when it comes to creating your world and your setting and your campaign. So if you need ideas, try something like this, because it could be just super awesome fun. I think it would be a blast to come to the table with this stuff. Temporal Adept. This is all about time travel and some weirdness. There's some cool gadgets they've got showing on this image. Gives you a very different feel. I could see this absolutely being maybe a plot line in a game in a setting like Eberron that uses a lot of technology and could be very cool. I say that a lot. Search for Tomorrow. That doesn't really do anything. I really like that teleportation effect. But again, somebody could come to your table and say, like, I want there to be teleportation. And it looks like this. Maybe there are portals between certain sections of the world, and you say, that's actually a cool idea. Like, maybe I can work with this. Maybe there's a way to have in my world areas that are strongly connected to the natural world, like this image indicates, allow you to cross over into the Feywild and back out somewhere else. Maybe those portals become the trade routes for the elves that come from that part of the world, and they are able to move to and from their homeland without having to travel on the mundane roads that all the non-elves use, or at least the non-elves from this particular part of the world. And again, just making stuff up. I hadn't thought about any of this stuff specifically ahead of time. I'm looking at pictures and reacting. Tangle Mantis. There aren't really any giant mantis monsters in D&D. Maybe you, or whatever other game, again. Maybe you could write up a mantis monster and have it, have this art represent that creature so people get a good sense of what it is they're facing when they first see this thing, because it'll be completely new to them. There you go. That's the whole idea, and I hope you like it. I will be back hopefully on Thursday with something new to talk about. Not really sure what I want to talk about, but I'll hopefully find something. And please do stop back. Please like, subscribe, and share. And I hope you're having a wonderful day. See you soon. Stand by for adventure.